Yo, what is up, dudes? So, I guess it was inevitable. You could see this coming probably 10 years ago, certainly 5 years ago. But one of the oldest publications for guitar players, Guitar Player magazine, has announced that they are no longer going to print issues of the magazine. They're not going away completely, but there is an inevitable march towards digital. Paper is it's just hard to deal with, right? You've got to print, you've got to ship, you got to sit on a shelf, you have to hope that they sell. If they don't, people can actually send them back. The magazine industry is very weird, and they can get some sort of partial credit towards, next issues. And so it's a tough industry. It's sort of like information delivery through magazines, which was, pretty much the internet before the internet became the internet. This is what the internet used to look like. You'd go to your local magazine store and you would buy something surrounding the topic that you were interested in. Guitars, model airplanes, automobiles, knitting, just about anything you could think about. There was, if not one, a whole bunch of magazines. I mean, for guitar, there was Guitar Player, Guitar World, Guitar School, Guitar One, Guitar for the Practicing Musician. And eventually, the people that owned Guitar World wound up buying up a lot of those. I think they bought Guitar School, Guitar One, Guitar for the Practicing Musician. I think changed their name to just Guitar. And then they wound up, I think, either buying Guitar World or the other way around. There's a lot of merger going on in that industry. Until finally, it was just down to really Guitar, formerly Guitar for the Practicing Musician, also Guitar World, I suppose. Again, they sort of merged all together, and Guitar Player. That was the only other one out there, was Guitar Player. And again, this is the OG. And now we're down to one. And I suspect that they will start to re-examine their digital future versus coming out in print, because it's just too expensive. So I'm glad to see that they're not completely going away. When I first read the article, it looked like that they were completely folding, and I was like, well, that's a bummer. But they're not. They're just moving away from print issues and moving completely to digital, which you could see that coming a mile away. So it's a sad day. The Guitar Player magazine, as we knew it, is going away. But I'm glad to see that it's not completely going away. If you're a guitar player and you were reading Guitar Player magazine, I'd love to know. You usually can kind of remember your first issue. And my first issue, I will never forget, was the one with Billy Gibbons on the cover. I want to say it was early 1981. I had just really started getting back into guitar playing that fall in September of 1980. And as it went through, I would be I was working at a tire shop. I think I was 14, mounting tires. And changing tires, fixing flats, all that stuff. And I remember getting the one with Billy Gibbons on the cover. I still have it here somewhere. I looked for it before I came on here, but I couldn't find it. But I still have that original, I want to say February of 81 or January of 81. And I remember taking that to work and just keeping it at work. And you'd have long stretches of no business, and you've already cleaned the shop, you're sitting around. I read that magazine cover to cover probably 100 times. You memorize it. That was how you'd be clamoring for guitar related information, and you could go to a store and walk out with 100 to 200 pages. You could see the writing on the wall. Speaking of pages, you could see the writing on the wall. A couple of years ago, I said, you know what, I'm going to re-up. I'm going to get subscriptions to whatever magazines are out there, and it was Guitar, World, I guess, or just Guitar, I think they call themselves now, and Guitar Player. I got both magazines. Got them for 2 years. They struggled to hit 100 pages a month. Now, I have all my old magazines. I've been sort of cutting them up and digitizing them. Those magazines were at 230, 240 pages, like literally more than double. If it was a thin issue, it was like 180 or 190 pages. Now they were barely I never saw one over 100 pages. Never really saw one under 100 either. I swear to God, they were constantly trying to hit that 100-page mark. And I don't even know if they could do that any longer. And the advertising just doesn't pay for the content. As I understand it, the magazine industry worked was you would break even on the sales. In other words, whatever it cost to print and ship and get out there, the cost of the magazine was basically a break-even point. And then all your profit was made from the advertising. And they probably can't break even any longer on the sales because sales are just down that much. That's why they wanted subscriptions so bad, because then they knew they could go to advertisers and say, hey, we have 50,000, 100,000 people a month. But they probably are struggling to get, subscribers. The other thing I noticed, this is a magazine from 1994. The other thing I sort of noticed was how worse the product got in terms of physical product. In other words, I could pick this up and feel, a certain page thickness. And when you got to my latest couple of years, which I want to say was like 2021, 2022, so the last 2 years I subscribed, the paper got so thin I had trouble digitizing it. It would tear up because it got so thin and so fragile. So the product had really gone in decline, and it's just a bummer. But anyway, they're not going away. I want to be clear on that. They're just getting away from print. We'll see how long Guitar World, Guitar Magazine. They've changed their names a bunch of times. It's like they have a roulette wheel. It's like, a spinning wheel. Pick the name of the day. Guitar for the Practicing Musician, Guitar One, Guitar School, Guitar, or Guitar World. Those are all one unit now. So, it's all in there. The only other one was Guitar Player. And now they're going away from print and going to digital only. But, like they say, we're not going away. We're just moving to from the physical world to the digital world. So I hope they can keep it going. It's a nice resource. It was a nice way, but maybe they've been completely supplanted by YouTube and other free ways to get a ton of information. They can't compete in terms of news, right? They're not nimble enough. To give you an idea of the lead time for these magazines, next week they ship their final issue. The December issue ships next week. So they're always way ahead in their printing, and you're not nimble that way, right? They've probably been building that issue since August, and it probably had a deadline somewhere in September to put that to bed, and then you're sending it out to print and have it come out in the second or third week in October. So again, not a very nimble, business outfit. You've got to, the websites. I'm breaking this news literally hours after it happened. They can't even break their own news for another 2.5 months. So anyway, that's the state of Guitar Player Magazine moving from print to digital. We'll see if anyone else will see if Guitar goes the same way, but who knows. There you go, guys. As always, thanks for hanging out. Rock on.